always say like a quote that lately, especially now 2026, that I invest in people that invest in me.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because like from my personal experience, sometimes you like someone so much.
Yeah.
And then you put all your efforts there, your heart, you pour your heart out. And you know, you do magic. But then it's not being reciprocated. And that can be very frustrating.
Absolutely.
You know, and you may like that person because you attract to that person. You may like that person because you think that person check all, you know, tick all the boxes, right?
Yes.
But reality is, you know, people are people. And if you don't give a chance to someone, we wouldn't really know if it will work or not.
Absolutely.
Do you have like maybe a potentially like a tip in how women and men should behave towards a potential partner?
Okay. So I love that. Like, you give the effort that to people who gives you that effort, right? But also, Priscilla, even if I'm doing such a modern business like matchmaking, right? Like, who does matchmaking before? But although, like, fun fact, matchmaking is actually one of the oldest professions. They just didn't label it, but it's basically people.
Because the titas, right?
Because the titas have been doing it forever. We're just doing it professionally and more streamlined right now, right? So let me just share with you that even if I'm a modern dating coach and a matchmaker, I firmly believe that love, romance, and relationship will be way better if the man pursues first.
Amigas, a new year always comes with a bit of quiet pressure. Do better, choose better, be better. It's that fresh feeling like we're finally ready to try things differently, especially when it comes to dating. 2026 is here, and it seems like a lot of women and men still aren't quite sure how to really date effectively. Things have changed so much, and all the venue, information, and modernization can actually make it harder for real connections to happen. So how do we navigate this constantly changing world without feeling like we're failing? How do you enjoy the process, meet interesting people, have fun, and walk away without feeling drained or confused? What can we do differently in 2026 to boost your dating life? Today, I've got a dating expert with me who can help us navigate the world of dating. She is the first US certified matchmaker in the Philippines and a science-based dating coach, known as Coach V. Amigas, let's welcome our very first guest on the first episode of Amigas podcast, season 2, just in time for Valentine's Day. Dating coach Vanessa Antonio.
Hi, thank you, Amiga. Thank you, Priscilla, for having Coach V.
Coach V, actually, I'm just meeting you today.
Yes, it's our first time
and it's so
to meet.
pleasant because you're so pretty. I need to say that you're very beautiful.
Thank you.
I have a curious question. Do any of your clients hit on you?
So as a matchmaker, I feel like it comes as part of the job. But as matchmakers as well, we are never allowed to date our client because that's going to be the opposite of what we're doing. So of course, client first before our personal love lives. Yes.
Before our personal. Well,
yes.
Coach V, I honestly, personally, I've been into a dilemma.
Okay.
Because I am recently divorced.
Okay.
Almost 1 year. Next month, it will be 1 year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I feel very happy to be here.
Yes.
But yeah,
I can imagine.
One of the challenges I have actually, it's how to navigate this world of like dating, right?
Dating again.
Things have changed so much.
Absolutely.
Last time I dated, it was like a good 18 years back.
Oh my God.
So I'm so fresh and I'm a little bit scared and skeptical then because, you know, people have changed.
Absolutely.
There is a lot of differences between age gaps. which is amazing. Before, during my time, you date people that are like just 2 years older than you,
Correct.
or something like that. But today, it's so modern that we see like huge age gaps between couples, right?
Absolutely.
But of course, it's a challenge itself because there is so much technology involving all of that, and then it can be a little bit helpful, but sometimes overwhelming.
Absolutely, you're right. So if we're talking about 18 years ago, Priscilla, I could just imagine you've never used a dating app.
No, I've never used. Actually, as of today, I've never used.
You've never used a dating app.
Never used a dating app.
And so during your time, that was when organic encounters were very common. So based on research, people usually 10 years back and more, people were meeting their spouse through common friends, through church or school, and through work. That's the top 3.
So right.
But right now it's changing. Actually, online dating will be the primary ways we are meeting our partner in the next 10 years and more.
Oh, wow.
That's not even part of the list, 10 years
I have a lot to catch up. Yes. But it can be scary, right?
It is.
Because I'm very familiar. There's a lot of catfishing.
Absolutely.
So how do you actually prevent yourself to be a victim of someone that pretending to be someone else, or pretending to look in a certain way, or just all around trying to fool you?
Yes, because there are people who are entering the dating pool on dating apps who do not have the same intention as us, right? But you know what? First, I'd like to establish that the dating app actually is a very helpful tool in connecting with people we won't otherwise meet if we weren't on apps. Like right now, Priscilla, that's why it's very different, because before we tend to date and get married with people who are our neighbors, who our common friends know, who our family recommends.
Correct.
Right now, somebody who's in the Philippines could already get married with somebody who's from the United States or other parts of the world, and that is because of technology. And just like anything else, there's pros and cons. One of the biggest setback that we're looking at when it comes to dating apps is yung the fake accounts, the catfishes. But you know what? Right now, there are actually ways that you could take so you don't get victimized by this. One of those would be having a video call first before meeting them in person. And if you want to take it a little bit further, we teach a lot about, using the open source to background check. So there is one technology that we use, that we upload anyone's photo, and then the internet will pull up their records, social media, and all other stuff.
I think we need to hang out more, Coach.
So there are ways to protect yourself right now, and it's very, very important to take those steps before you put yourself out there.
I'm gonna take notes. I need those tips. But when it comes to terms of pillars of of dating, does it change if you talk about the modernization of dating, or are they still the same?
So we've started this company over 10 years ago. So at that time, the dating app was just gaining acceptance. Right now, it's almost normal to have a dating app. It's just like your Messenger and other normal apps, right? But 10 years ago, the stigma was very, very high when it comes to these apps. And so before, people were meeting organically. Right now, as we have mentioned, if you meet somebody from online dating app and you got married from somebody from online, I mean, it's already acceptable. So that what makes it very different, because before we refused technology. Right now it's normal. Before we're very localized in terms of marriage. Right now, my love, we are seeing more and more international couples now more than ever. And we're already also part of that, because we are intercultural matchmaker. We're actually promoting intercultural partnership, because for me, it's one of the ways to achieve world peace. Because if you have children who are mixed race, you are unlikely to be racist towards other cultures.
So what are the game-changing strategies that you can actually advise or suggest to everyone that's going back to the game to use, since things are so modern, and how I said earlier is a little scary. I myself never use a dating app. Maybe after today I might just try. But what dating strategies can you give
Okay.
For the people that are ready to go out there and actually look for a potential partner.
And we're talking about men and women here.
Yes,
So
men and women.
Let me focus on the women first. And this is different by age.
Okay.
So if we're talking about, like 20s and 30s, date in Asia, it's easy for you to find a potential match here. But if you were talking about 40s, 50s, 60s and above, date in the West, because people there are much more open when it comes to age differences.
Oh.
In a way that, in the Philippines, when you're 50 and you're dating, people will be like, oh, why is she still dating? She's supposed to take care of just the children and the grandchildren.
Yes, there is a lot of stigmas.
Yeah, there's a lot of stigmas. But in the West, people on their 60s, 70s, they're still finding love and they're still very open to romance. So that's what I would recommend. Not to say that you cannot find love here when you're on your 40s, 50s, but it's just that the option. If you have the means, go travel, relocate where there's higher chance of finding a quality partner. That would be my recommendation.
Oh, that's amazing recommendation. So basically, the cultural differences won't it affect a little bit?
Absolutely.
In terms of dating, like
Yes.
if you're focusing on international, target.
Yes, Priscilla. Of course, in the Philippines, there's also this, stigma against like very strong, independent women. Like even if we say, oh, it's already modern, there's still a general preference towards women who are a little bit meek, who's not very opinionated. But you know what? I feel like overseas, if you're beautiful, you're fit, you take care of yourself, and you're like a lady boss, there is like a higher acceptance. Here, kasi I feel like the people are still adjusting to women rising through the ranks.
Okay.
We've never seen this before. Now more than ever, we have the highest number of CEOs and women in senior executive positions. And I feel like for Filipinos, we're still catching up. Because although we understand that in corporate, more women are coming in, when it comes to love, we're still very used to men being the boss in the relationship.
That's true. I think women in general just like to be taken care of, even if they earn their money.
Even if they're very
Yes.
successful, they would still want to be taken care of. 100%, Priscilla. You're very right there.
And in terms of age gap, how I mentioned earlier, like during my time,
Okay.
the age gap I remember of my, between me and my partners, my boyfriends, were like 2-3 years old. Like how is it acceptable today? Like, is there like a ideal age gap for a connection to be established, or even for a relationship to further move on?
Right. So I have a personal and professional opinion on this. Which one would you like to hear first?
Your personal.
Okay, so my personal opinion, like my personal preference is I would prefer men who is much like older, because we already know that there is some sort of like women mature faster.
Yeah.
And so if you are a woman who doesn't want to head butts all the time, I would recommend going for a mature partner, because sometimes the closer the age, the more you're like, oh, who's gonna give in at this point.
Right.
But when the man is older, of course he's gonna give in.
I like that.
Of course, a younger partner. But if you want to hear my professional advice, data have shown that when the age gap reaches 10 years or more, the breakup rate goes higher by 35%.
Oh, wow.
And when you go for 15 years age gap, we're talking about 45% breakup rate and higher. So data is showing that the closer you are in terms of not really the age, but the generation and lifestyle. Because sometimes maybe you'd appreciate the ages, and maybe the partner was like, what is that? Maybe you'd appreciate like ABBA, and the partner was like, I don't like that song. So it's not about the age. It's really like in terms of the intelligence and the mental set. Like, can you still get along?
Okay.
That's like the number
compatibility.
one.
So the compatibility does matter.
Absolutely.
And beliefs. And what about religion? Does all of those things, do they take like a huge part of making a relationship fail or success?
So it's part of as a matchmaker, it's part of the variables that we consider. So religion, politics are also very important. But also, Priscilla, what we've seen is when the man or the woman is really in love, there are ways around it. They can work towards it. But sometimes, since We're not in love yet. We don't know the person yet. We're like, oh, he's not Christian, I'm not gonna date him. But if you didn't know their religion and you've met them and then you've built that bond and attachment, you're likely to adjust to them first. That's why on a first date, I highly recommend don't put all your cards on the deck. Because the purpose of the first date is to see if you are able to laugh together, if you're on the same wavelength. And then the criteria could be laid out later on after 3 dates.
Oh wow! So what would be the right mindset to date in 2026? Since we've come like I'm a millennial, but nowadays generations are different, like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and so on, so many gens. But people are actually behaving differently.
Very different.
And then what we need to do is like, of course, to adjust.
Yes.
So independent of what age you're coming into the game,
yes,
what is like the correct mindset to go in 2026?
So for me, one of the best mindsets when you go out on dates is instead of I hope they will like me, go for I hope I will like them.
Okay.
Because if you have that kind of mindset, you don't go out on a date, fixing your hair, fixing your whatever, because you get super conscious because you want to be liked. You want to go on date to see like, is this person going to be a good addition to my life?
Yes.
That's the number one mindset. Second one is, this is the time in our lives that people have so much option. So if you want that person to connect with you, to ask you on a second date, you should show signs of emotional availability. That's one of the most attractive traits according to the science of people. Show emotional availability, meaning if you want them to see you again on a second date, you have to express it. I love the hard to get notion, but we have to do the hard to get correctly in a way that, you get access to me, you get to know me, but if you do something that's off, that's when I set boundaries. But as long as you're putting in the effort, you're putting like a good invitation, then I will continue to give you access.
I always say like a quote that lately, especially now 2026, that I invest in people that invest in me.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because like from my personal experience, sometimes you like someone so much.
Yeah.
And then you put all your efforts there, your heart, you pour your heart out. And you do magic. But then it's not being reciprocated. And that can be very frustrating.
Absolutely.
And you may like that person because you attract to that person. You may like that person because you think that person check all, tick all the boxes, right?
Yes.
But reality is, people are people. And if you don't give a chance to someone, we wouldn't really know if it will work or not.
Absolutely.
Do you have like maybe a potentially like a tip in how women and men should behave towards a potential partner?
Okay. So I love that. Like you give the effort that to people who gives you that effort, right? But also, Priscilla, even if I'm doing such a modern business like matchmaking, right? Like who does matchmaking before? But although, like fun fact, matchmaking is actually one of the oldest professions. They just didn't label it, but it's basically people.
Because the titas, right?
Because the titas have been doing it forever. We're just doing it professionally and more streamlined right now, right? So let me just share with you that even if I'm a modern dating coach and a matchmaker, I firmly believe that love, romance, and relationship will be way better if the man pursues first.
Okay.
Instead of the woman going after and chasing a man. Why? Because when it's actually the woman chasing the man, even if the woman have already put in so much effort, diba? She's very tired already making the person happy. When the man doesn't really, if you're not really the person in the heart of the man, I mean, you're gonna be burnt out. And the man will be like, okay, so. But if the man pursues for who they really want, they are motivated to put in the effort. They're not complacent. They're more engaged. They put more attention. They initiate dates more. And I feel like that's polarity. There's like feminine and masculine in there. Because just imagine a woman chasing a man. Like that woman will be very prone to abuse.
Yes, that's
but
true.
If a woman likes a man, show interest. Give them positive signals that it's okay to approach, but never chase a man. Let the man come to you, because man they never change their mind. If they like you, they like you. If they don't, even if you're tumbling right there, nothing will change. They're not gonna. Us kasi, my love, if initially we don't like them, when they put in the effort, our hearts soften. We develop that.
We can change our minds sometimes.
Change our minds. Like,
but when a woman makes make up her mind
and exits,
nobody, no turning back, no matter
back.
what.
Yes, that's the difference. So
it's really about nature, right? So many are really like, the hunters.
It's respecting our biology. It's respecting our nature. Because even if it's already hundreds and hundreds of years, we choose our partners the same. Women wants a protector and a provider. Men like somebody who's like youthful, playful, and like fertile. It's the same. Even if you say it's already modern, if you go back to the very, core of it, it is the same. So respect the feminine and masculine core.
Well, online there is so many strategies. There is even this TikToker that came out with this like 3-3-3 rule. It's a 3-3-3 rule where like you need to respect in order to work things. So it's like 3 days or 3 dates. Okay, and then you decide if you like the person or not.
3 dates?
Yes.
Okay, that's something that matchmakers would recommend as well. Because on the first date, that human being is never their normal. Usually they're hacked by, nervousness. They're not themselves. But like second date, they're becoming like
a little bit more, right?
Third date, most likely you can already see them in their normal state.
And then after the 3 dates, if you decide that you want to still continue seeing that person, pursuing that, you wait another 3 weeks.
3 weeks before you see them again?
No, you do a 3 weeks to kind of decide if it is someone that it's worth pursuing. For another 3 months.
Okay.
So, if you match, there is like compatibility, things like that. And then after the 3 months, you decide if that person is really like someone that you see in the future. So that's where they come up. But there is so many other techniques out there coming from all this new generation, like based on the science. Okay. What is like the technique that you'd advise to people out there to actually engage in order to not waste their time?
Gotcha. So I like studying the science behind things because I feel like if you just listen based on my experience, nada. There's not much in here. Like, I'm this age, right? But the reason why I actually took this career because I love studying from previous studies that were done by people who studies human beings. These are the psychologists, these are the sociologists who've put in hundreds and hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars of resources just to figure out what are the tendencies of human beings. And it shows that in less than 1 second, you already know, your brain have already decided if somebody is attractive or not. It could be as simple as just like attractive. It could be like, oh, not so attractive. Very quick. Our brain is very smart. And it also showed that it only takes about 156 days to figure out if somebody is marriage material. So we're just talking about 6 months, less than a year. That's why sometimes, like when there are people coming to me like, Coach V, it's been 9 years and he hasn't proposed. I was like, he will never propose.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just joking because it doesn't take a long time to figure out
and to decide,
to decide if somebody's gonna be good for you or not, because our brains are very intelligent. If you pay attention like very closely, you'll be able to see if they're a good human being or not.
Okay.
If you put them in, what's important here, Priscilla, is not just going on fancy dates and that's it. Put them in activities. You want to see them under stress. You want to see them under pressure.
So in short, you're telling me you need to actually pursue real life dates.
different circumstances. Give them problems, give them and see how they react.
So is it okay to talk about like more deep stuff early on, like serious conversations?
How early is early on, my love?
I don't know, maybe third date. Can you already somehow share like some deeper thoughts with that person? Because I think there is like an apprehension of they might misjudge you or think that you're looking for a husband, or in the case of a man, looking already for a wife to have your babies. So how early can we actually like heavy conversations in a date?
Yeah, I believe third date is a good start. I would, even with the single moms who are coming to me, you know what, Coach V, when I go on a date, I tell them immediately, I have 3 kids and these are my non-negotiables. And I was like, baby girl, you've already disclosed the history of your life. You don't even know if you're gonna see this person again. It's your privacy. Treat it as a treasure, not like an information that you just put out in the open. If they are already deserving of that information, then you can let it out. And I feel like third date, you already have an idea whether I'm gonna see them again and again or I'm never gonna see them again.
And what about multi-dating? Is that okay? Okay. Are we game for that? Like, is that okay to go in dates with multiple,
yes,
potential partners?
We call it.
Is it cheating still?
So we call it rotational dating in this modern generation, but it is essentially multi-dating. And moms and dads, grannies, excuse me, but my loves, dating right now means getting to know a person. It doesn't mean that you're gonna sleep with them. So it is actually highly recommended that you rotational date. You get to know a few people, not a lot. Should be less than 3. Should be less than 6, because science have shown anything above 6, you're already experiencing the paralysis. You can't decide. But the beauty of having multiple people that you get to know is you don't get attached too soon to one person. Second is you get to see the pros and cons, the red flags and the green flags more rationally. Who is more aligned and compatible to the future or to the life that I want to build? So that is highly recommended right now.
I have a friend actually that was suggesting she wants to introduce me a potential date.
All right. Okay, Priscilla, let's talk about that.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because I'm unsure if I would be comfortable in going on a date with someone that I actually haven't picked myself.
I know. So that's actually one of the drawback when you're meeting people recommended by friends, because sometimes you have to think, oh my God, I have to be very nice with this person because I don't want this person to talk to my friend and say, oh my God, you set me up with a So it's actually good to go on dates with friends dates that were picked by your friends, but it should not just be your only source. As many sources as you can, use the technology, use the reto, or what we call how do you say that in English? They're like recommendation by your friends. And then also, like for us, my love, we remove that pressure from the friends, because one of my clients would say, you know what, Coach V, I have enough network. I have a lot of people who could recommend dates to me, but I don't want to give them that burden. And I don't even want them to know my personal dating life. That's why they work with a matchmaker. So have various source of potential dates. You could pick somebody directly, but if your history have shown that you do not pick the best partners, ask your mama to pick for you. Maybe you'll end up with a better
from a friend.
Call a friend.
Call a friend for that. Oh, friends.
Yes.
Friends, help.
Help.
Okay, so in terms of flirting, Coach V, I know that we're in Asia, but this podcast is not only for Asia. It's like an international podcast for different, audiences. Like, is it healthy for women and men, especially women, to flirt a lot? Or is it a little dangerous?
As long as it's not work setting, it's 100% healthy to flirt. As long as they're not married.
They're not married also.
Both of you are singles. Flirting is actually an expression of playfulness. And us women, as we age, we sometimes lose that. Because in order to flirt, you must feel good about yourself. You must know that I am desirable. But as we age, sometimes we get conscious and we don't want to. But if you can flirt at any age, that'll be wonderful, because even gentlemen, they really appreciate that because they take it as a positive signal.
So that they know when to approach or not, right?
Absolutely.
I have quite few friends that, they go in the gym masungit. Like, they're super moody. They go to the supermarket, they're masungit. Super moody. They go to the supermarket, they're so their face is really not approachable.
Oh, RBF girls, I feel ya. Resting bitch faces.
Exactly. So would you say that in order to be actually actively successful in your date career, you need to be more approachable, and flirting is a good tool to somehow like to potentially select or let people know, like the future, connections know that,
That you're
actually
open.
you're open for the game.
Yes, that you are emotionally available 100%. If you have an RBF, of course, a man will not be encouraged to come to you. So I myself had that. So I needed to practice some sort of like a half resting smile, because if I don't, I always look like I'm gonna punch somebody, right? So if you know that you have that, the more you have to be able to like smile or wave or just say like it's okay to approach, or else you may never get approached, because men or women, we are afraid of rejection, and no matter how beautiful or handsome they are, everybody have like some sort of insecurities. There are a few research that came out. They say some of the most loneliest women are the beautiful women. Why? Because sometimes when you are so beautiful, men will think, oh, she has too many options. She will never give me a chance. Then you don't get approached. Guess who gets approached in the bar the most? The average looking women.
Oh, wow.
Because they know that they're not up there. They're more open, and they are also very receptive when they get approached. While beautiful women, some of them, of course, they hardly get approached because the guys, if they are insecure, they know they're not gonna make a cut. And also for beautiful women, they think like, oh, like if they approach me, like especially if the one approaching you is not within your level, like sometimes beautiful women feels insulted, like, oh, how dare that person? Like, who do you think you are, right?
Yeah.
But it's so interesting for researchers like that. It made you realize that sometimes it's not really just beauty. It's beauty, femininity, and emotional availability.
So Coach V, in terms of, okay, let's go to the actual date.
Okay.
Before there's so many like, let's say like red flags or green flags in terms of dating, or taboos or general rules. Like for instance, who pays the bill? Or who invites first?
Yes.
Or even when it comes to when to have sex,
right,
with a potential, connection. So how do we do that now, the age of the year 2026? Does the old rules still apply, or is there also like a modernization to it?
I feel like we cannot use the same like rules
standard
when the dating field have changed differently. And even if we are choosing the partners the same, the way that we are choosing is already different. So I feel like it is in the advantage of men and women to observe what we call the basic basic rules in terms of being polite, of footing the bill. It is in the advantage of men to pay for the first date, because it's a subconscious way of communicating that you can take care of your woman and you can take care of your future family. I mean, why are you dating if you cannot sustain your a simple meal, right?
That's very true. And in terms of like, is there a number of dates that you would, as a professional, just advise until you can actually, have sex with that person?
Yeah. So we highly recommend to have, sex after commitment, but many people are running their lives differently. So my rule is just this: build an emotional connection outside of the bedroom, and when you have that emotional connection already, then you can have the physical connection. Why? Because science have shown the effect of sex on men and women is very different. When a woman sleeps with a man, what happens with our hormones, our oxytocin shoots up, our dopamine shoots up. We get really, really bonded to them. We get really attached. We want to we want to have more of them after. While for men, before they have sex, the dopamine is so high because they're pursuing you. They're very motivated. But after they have sex, the testosterone actually goes down. That's why some of them kind of pulls away after having that, intimate time with you. So the problem is when you give sex too soon without emotional attachment, it's so easy to forget you. But if you build that emotional attachment even before you had the physical connection, then there's a reason to come back and continue the connection. So just build emotional connection before the physical.
In the terms of age gap, like we talk a little bit in the beginning, but I want to tackle something that's very, very real nowadays. You know, the famous cougars.
Ooh,
Yeah, science have shown, that now younger men are getting very attracted to older women.
Absolutely. I myself was very surprised, but it is really happening right now.
So what is your professional advice in terms of that? Like, you know, potential partnership between an older woman and a younger man, because on the past we're just so used to, you know, always having like, you know, a mature man with a younger woman and sexy woman, but nowadays things are really reverting, like they're changing. So in terms of matching making, you know, science and, you know, how do you deal with that? What is your opinion about that?
So I feel like, Priscilla, relationships and marriages are a social contract. And when you actually enter that, there's some sort of like an exchange. Research have shown that we are attracted to people who are on the same level of attractiveness. That means if you are an 8, I cannot give you or I cannot match you with somebody who's a 3 because you will feel dissatisfied. If I match you with somebody who's like above 10, you will also feel anxious, thinking that I may not be able to keep them because there's so many people who also wants them. So but sometimes you see there's like a politician who's not so good looking with a very attractive woman. Why? Because there are compensating factors. When the politician is very rich, when he has status, when he has, you know, prestige, that could, you know, compensate for his lack of physical attractiveness. Now let's talk about the you call it cougar?
The cougars.
Oh my God, I'm so not comfortable saying that, but it is really happening. Why? Because now more than ever, more and more women are not depending on men for survival. And so if you are a woman who have a lot of resources and you don't even, you know, need help on that, and you're very happy with your life, then find a hot, loving man that you can be with. If that's what makes you happy,
but you know,
go
I need
for it.
to add that technology nowadays are making like women look better and better and better. You know, the women like in the past of 40 years old, they had white hair already, full of wrinkles. You know, they look like, you know, Lolas. The 40 years old now,
hot.
Sometimes they're looking even better than the 20 years old. Do you think that, you know, being attractive with someone actually plays a huge, more than just like major role in actually establishing a connection with someone?
Absolutely. You know what, Priscilla? Men have 25 to 60% more visual neurons. That's just tell you why they're mahilig sa maganda.
Like beautiful women.
They're like beautiful women, and it's not because they're shallow. It's just because biologically they're built like that. Okay, they receive a lot of information by just visual cues. They could already tell who's fertile, who's not, who's young, who's, you know, by different cues. And you know what we've found, like running this matchmaking for like 12 years, we've found that men are not necessarily looking for beautiful people. They're looking for signs of good genetics. What are the signs of good genetics? You have clear skin, shiny hair, white set of teeth, maputi your eyes as well. You have a healthy weight. Those are just indicators. And their brains, the moment that they look at a woman, their brain is already calculating, or is this woman's reproductive system healthy? Are they fertile regardless of their age? Diba? That's why they're so attracted to the Coca-Cola body, because subconsciously when they see a Coca-Cola body, the way that it interprets their brain, they have a good hip to what's a breast ratio, so it's fertile, signs of fertility, whether they bear children or not.
So that's very clear for men. What about for women? The opposite. What is it that is attractive to them that would they go like choose maybe a potential older partner or a younger partner?
That's why men, it's harder and harder to find somebody, especially if you're not a number 10 or number 8. This is one of the hardest generation to date. Why? Because men before, if you have resources, if you are rich and successful, there's a lot of good women who will pine on you. But right now, there are a lot of good women who already have their own money. So their next question is, besides your resources, what else can men offer?
Exactly.
And so
that's my question to you.
So usually women are looking for 3 things. A man who protects them, not only physically but emotionally.
Okay.
A man who doesn't make them crazy. That's why when somebody tells me, Coach B, all of my ex are crazy, I was like, do not accept that person as a client, because for sure he's the person who made them crazy. Second is, women are looking for somebody who's going to profess their love, like somebody that, a man who doesn't hide them. Because the moment that the man starts hiding you gotta do your research. That means they probably have 3 more families anywhere, somewhere in the world. And the last one, and the most important one, is a man that could provide. And financial provision is just the least. Yeah. You should be able to bring value to your woman's life. You should be able to show the woman that there's something in you that's admirable. Or else, why would a woman be with you if they don't admire you? They will not respect you. That's and when a woman disrespects a man, the man will also fall out of love.
So it falls out in respect, really. Like me, myself, I cannot see myself with someone that I cannot respect and admire. No matter how good looking he is.
Correct. It's impossible for a woman to fall in love.
No matter how rich he is.
Yes. If they do not admire the man. If they not respect
Coach, let me touch a little bit of spicy topic here. What about excess? I know that sometimes a lot of women and men end up not engaging in going into dates or engaging in a new relationship because there is always an ex in the picture.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice do you give, and how can you, actually tell them in terms of how to deal with excess? And how bad that can affect their dating game.
Yes. Unless they need to co-parent, I don't see any reason why you have to be BFFs with your ex.
So no friendship between exes. You do not advise that.
I mean, why? We have very limited energy, and when your energy goes to the ex, how much more energy is left for you to invest in the new relationship? So it's just math.
So basically, this is one of the, the dating habits to ditch in 2026.
Absolutely.
So erase the X number unless you need to co-pair it with them.
Yes, unless you have to co-pair it.
And what else are like the habits to ditch in 2026 so you can have a healthy, and let's say successful dating life experience?
Oh, there's this thing that's happening right now. Actually, it's been happening like a long time, but we finally have a label for it. It's called situationship.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Can you please explain what is a situationship?
Situationship is when you're acting like a couple when in fact there is no commitment.
Oh,
so
the man is getting the perks without committing.
Yes, and it could be the men and women getting the perks. Men give some sort of provision, and then the women provides intimacy, and so there is some sort of exchange.
So like a sugar daddy and a mommy daddy, sugar mommy,
mommy daddy,
like a sugar daddy and
like a
sugar mommy pala.
Yeah, but it's so tricky because it could make you feel as if you have a partner when in fact you don't have a partner because nobody have really given you a commitment. Because relationship is not just about feelings; it's whoever gave their promise to you that, whatever happens, like, I got you, we are committed to each other. Situationship is like, you benefit from me, we're gonna hang out, I benefit from you, but when I find somebody better, I'll go and ditch and leave you.
So we were talking earlier about the 3, like, what I saw on the internet, about this TikToker, about the rule of 3-3-3, and he was saying like 3 first dates.
Yeah.
A lot of people, of course, they want to put their best foot forward, right? You're telling early that, sometimes the very first dates is really hard to see the real person because they're too conscious about being liked.
Absolutely. We're just normal human beings. We want to be liked as well, especially if we really like the person.
So do you advise that one of the things to ditch also is to try too hard? Perhaps just be your natural self and to invest too much, early on in the game?
So I feel like our potential partner also deserves our best foot forward. So we don't want to shame people who are putting their best foot forward when it comes to dating, because your partner deserves your best version.
So I cannot shop without makeup?
I mean, you
and my dusty clothes?
I mean, you can, but my love, you know what? Men are likely to experience love at first sight more than women. That's a science-backed finding. And so, like, I mean, if you feel good without the makeup, go for it. But if there's some sort of, if you feel better with makeup, go for it. It doesn't say like, oh, if you're not wearing makeup, they're not gonna fall in love with you. Priscilla, with that, even if you come out with no makeup or no clothes, they'll fall in love. Just joking. But just, do you feel confident? Do you feel happy with yourself? Because the moment that you show up on a date and you feel like, oh, I'm so happy with who I am, then you are like playful and less self-conscious. We just don't want a lot of self-conscious happening.
Let's teach being self-conscious in a date.
Yes,
so
my love.
the more natural, the better.
Yes, because what happens is when you're self-conscious, you don't get to focus on your partner. I can't focus on what you're saying because I keep on thinking if my hair is like perfectly placed in, you know. So, yeah, we want to be able to give them the attention that they deserve when we are dating.
But what if you go in a date and suddenly you're rejected? How to deal with that?
Oh my God. I would just wanted to tell everybody that even the most beautiful woman that I've known gets rejected and cries. And it's so funny. Some of the most beautiful women I know, they're even the ones who's paying for I know. I was like, baby girls, didn't you look at yourself in the mirror? Yeah, because it's not about the beauty. Sometimes it's about the level of self-respect that you have. And having enough people to tell you that, you know what, baby girl, your presence alone is a gift to a good man. Because you regulate a man's nervous system. If a man is like a go-getter and he's always out and fighting, when he is with a good woman, like you help lower down their blood pressure, you make them pause and live in the present moment. So your presence alone is a gift. You don't have to try so hard.
So not being passive is actually a good thing.
Not over-giving and over-performing on dates is actually good.
It's a good thing.
Yes.
So that's what we need to
No
dish.
competing. Like,
No
even if I
competing.
don't say a word, this is already a good thing. I am enough.
You're enough. And when it comes to terms of, like, how do you treat actually like a date?
Okay.
Like, what is the kind of posture that you should take to actually know if a date has potential? Like,
Okay.
do you deal it like as if you're like in an interview? Like,
So-
what's your name, where you come from, how many siblings you have,
How much do you earn a year? How many assets do you have?
How
What's
do
your
you start that
salary?
conversation without being awkward?
You know what? It's normal for women to test men because there's a way higher risk for women if they choose the wrong men. But my love, on a first date, our recommendation is you treat your first date as if they are an old time friend, so that it doesn't feel awkward. You go there as if like, hey, like with excitement, like, hey, I'm so happy to see you, because it's an opportunity to find out if they're actually aligned with you or not. Yun lang yun. Figure out if that person is aligned to where you are going in life.
In terms of artificial intelligence,
Okay.
I've seen
Yeah.
online that a lot of people are actually using that to do matchmaking.
Yes.
Do you advise that?
I mean, I will not refuse technology, because technology has been a way for a lot of marriages to come through. But you know what? If there's one thing in this world that technology cannot 100% replicate, it's love. Because it's not a robot thing to do. It's a human thing. And humans are very complicated. I mean, if technology can figure out love, they should have figured out it 10 years ago.
That's true.
But even us matchmakers, we've been studying, like I myself have devoted 10 years, more than 10 years of my life. But can we figure it out 100%? No. And that's the beauty about it, because there's still that mysterious thing that nobody could figure out but the person itself. When somebody comes to us as a client, they tell us, Coach V, like do you promise if you arrange me to somebody, like I'm gonna get married? I was like, no, I cannot guarantee marriages. I can only guarantee that I will introduce you to somebody who is like a potential match. That means that person is aligned with you, and that is somebody that aligns with what you're saying. You want somebody who's attractive, you want somebody who's fit, somebody from a good family background, here you go. But there's one thing that I cannot figure out for you, and that is chemistry. That means you need to go out on a date and figure it out yourself and give us a report after the date, so we can tweak the the searches and we can refine the next dates moving forward.
So what should someone, like either men or women, look forward into a date, like into, having that connection with the person? Maybe what? Compatibility. What are the 5, 6, 10 signs that we need to make sure to have in order to see that actually we have a future with that person?
Yes. So if you're asking like what are the signs that that person is going to ask you on a second date, there was actually a research done in MIT, and they've observed speed daters.
Okay.
Who among the speed daters are going to go on a second date? Who among the speed daters will never see each other again? And the psychologists were able to predict who among those speed daters are going on a second date with 98% accuracy.
Oh, wow.
How did they even predict that? Were they in the room? The psychologists were not in the room. They were in the other room, but they were simply listening to an audio recording, but without the words. They were listening to the pitches and tonality of the conversations per couple. And they found that the higher the pitch, the likelihood of going on second dates goes up.
Ooh.
The lower it is, ibig sabihin, if you're masyadong seryoso, if you're too serious, you're not, they're not gonna be on a second date. That's why at the beginning of the podcast, I was recommending the purpose of the first date is to have fun, figure out if you could laugh together. Because the more laughter you have, the more there will be a chance for a second date.
So having fun is actually...
Having fun at the beginning, because you don't want to be married or you want to date somebody who's a drag, who's gonna be,
that you don't want to go home to.
Yes, and that can't make you laugh because life is already hard as it is, right? You want somebody who could make you enjoy life more.
So what is the golden rule in dating?
Okay, so the golden rule in dating is there is no golden rule. The golden rule is you have to believe that there's somebody out there for you.
Okay.
So my mentor, Dr. Helen Fisher, she is Dr. Love, America's most, she's done a lot of studies on love and relationship. And she said that the people who believe in love, who are positive about love, these are the people who finds love again. And we find what we look for, just like the red car theory. If you try to look for red car, you see a lot of red car. If you try to, be open about love, one way or another, you will be able to spot somebody who would be willing to offer you love.
So coach would say that actually the rule or the goal in date is actually to look for a potential partner?
I would say be open to a potential partner because it can come in different times of your life. It could come in very unexpected situations. But if you will actively pursue, if you try to limit your work hours so that you have more time for socials and relationships, that will also put you in an advantage position. If you're a person who doesn't just wait, if you're a person who, for example, works with people like us to hone your dating skills, to hone your personal, interpersonal skills, your intercultural intelligence, if you're dating somebody who's foreigner, then that puts you in an advantage position than somebody who have no clue what they're doing in dating. That's just what I'm gonna say.
That's just what it's about. Well, yes. I'm so glad that we're here right now at the home of the Amigas podcast for the season 2 Kenneth Combo Pue showroom.
Yes,
this
so
beautiful space that's been welcome us and all of you, our Amigas out there. And I'm just like super feeling at home.
Yes.
And I think this is actually a perfect place for dates.
Absolutely.
Right? Having a comfort sofa. So what are the places that you advise to actually take a date to?
Yes, Priscilla, before I answer that, did I tell you I've been on over 100 podcasts, and I just told her like this is actually one of the best podcast setup that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Really, it's very comfy. So you were asking what do I recommend in terms of
going on a date, like spaces, activities. Is there like a golden rule for okay, you should do this or that, so that you actually get the opportunity to get to know that person?
Right. So first date, definitely, if you're serious about that first date, please do not offer them coffee or just drinks. Like, my gosh. I mean, I understand for some cultures, they were like, let's have a drink, let's have coffee. But my loves, please understand from the POV of the ladies, you know how many hours we have to get ready for that date just for you to to go on a 15-minute date, right? Like, please don't do that to us. I feel like dating is about being intentional. So you must at least share a meal together, because in the Philippine culture, eating together is a form of bonding.
Okay.
That's one. Second is, the rule is, if you really had fun during dinner, go for a dessert or a drink somewhere else. That's for the first date. For the second date, there must be an activity before or after the date. Maybe you'll do some indoor golf. Maybe any activity that will like make you move together, because you can only talk so much. You need to have shared memories, shared bonding. That will help you have more topics to talk about. And that's the reason why also we have a community arm. It's called Singles Events Manila. If you go to our events, we don't just talk. We put them in activities. It's a very activity-based event, because when they have already a shared memory, they already run across the room, they figured out a challenge together, they're bonded and they have more topics to talk about. It's helping them date faster and incentivizing the men to approach the
Or
women.
just come to Kenneth Comupue showroom and shop for furniture.
It's actually like,
so that you know if that's the perfect,
try to
date for you.
Shop for your future home.
For future home already. But Coach V, thank you so very much for accepting our invitation. Is there any other advice that you'd like to share to our amigas out there?
So the amigas and the amigos, for sure. If you have already gone through this stage of, if dating apps is not for you, if recommendations from your friends is not for you, there is actually the very first matchmaking company in the Philippines who can do the legwork for you, finding you somebody who's aligned, doing the background check for them, and making sure that you don't get stood up during your date, because they will show up when we organize the dates. So it's basically just making the dating fast-paced. And not only that, I want you to focus on your career, and we focus on taking care of your dating life. We're Matchmaking Manila. This is actually something that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And we're happy to help people who would like to meet somebody or just understand and learn skills that will increase the likelihood of them finding somebody long-term.
That sounds amazing. Sounds like I may need your help. But anyways.
My gosh, Priscilla, I am so excited for your next phase.
Me too.
Isn't that
Being
so exciting?
divorced, it's not easy, but it's very exciting, because, I feel
So
that's
excited.
the start of a new chapter of my life. And I'm very ready to actually welcome a potential partner.
Yes, my love. And whatever happened in your past, you can only go up. It can only get better.
But
So
the best
something to look
advice
forward
I
to.
learned from you today is like not being friends with the ex. Anyways, guys, amigas,
Sorry.
dating doesn't have to be a roller coaster of highs, crashes, and what ifs anymore. It doesn't have to feel like a battlefield. It can be more intentional, lighter, and way less chaotic. By letting go of old habits that hinder our progress, we're opening up space for something much, much better. Not perfection, not a love story guaranteed by December, just connections that feel good more often than they hurt. Conversations that flow instead of drain. People who see the real you and stick around because they like what they see. We don't need to find the one in 2026, but we have to do what we need to do to deserve to enjoy the process of meeting interesting people, having fun, and walking away without feeling drained or confused. After all, it's never about the destination, it's about the ride. And you've got the power to make it a good one until you finally reach your goal. Thanks, amigas, for trusting me. Thank you very much for Kenneth Comupue Showroom for being the new home of Amigas podcast. And I'm glad to be back for this season 2, and I will see everybody very soon. So this is the episode of Amiga Podcast about the Valentine's special. Love you all, guys. God bless you, and see you in the next episode.
Yay!